Japan, and we just got rocked with another 7 point, I'm looking at the thing, 7.1. Look at the map here. This is a great resource, and I keep this up now all the time. Look at the battle, and this is in the last week. And this is today, today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 earthquakes today. Now where am I? I'm actually right here. So the radiation, everything is happening here. I've got all these mountains here protecting. So I'm probably in one of the best locations. I don't know if you can see on the map, but if you're on Google and you zoom in on Japan, it's right under the P. If you go down, I'm right on the coast here. And all this coast is exactly the same as the coast up here. Little villages, and I've done videos, and you can watch my videos on that. So, actually, I wasn't even looking at it. So it's like, sorry, I'm here. On there. So, you know, I'm here in my PJs. I work at night, working on Help Japan Co. or helpjapan.co or helpmehelpjapan.com is our blog. And you know, it's disheartening because I can just imagine, you know, looking at the pictures and the devastation, the feeling, and you know, suicide rates are going to skyrocket in Japan. And in Japan, suicide is okay. You know, they live in a culture that if you think that your life isn't worth living anymore, then you know, it's your call. And there's like stories of, you know, people jumping off buildings and just lying on the, you know, in the street in agony, and police will just ignore. They won't call the ambulance or anything else because they figured out the person wants to die. And it's very disheartening for like a foreigner who sees it, because they're like, oh, I want to help. But they're very, you know, the Japanese are very private people, and they take life and death very seriously, and they believe it's a choice that you have. And I know that with, you know, I just know that with what's happened and the loss and everything, that people are just gonna give up. And it's disheartening because, you know, I want to help them. I want to help them by, you know, providing them, you know, if I was a freaking Bill Gates or any billionaire, I would be here right now saying, I'm rebuilding your homes, I'm rebuilding your businesses, and I would leverage all my, you know, wealthy friends and colleagues to invest in a social venture like mine, you know, Help Me Help Japan, where we will provide services to the government. We'll get money, we'll take taxpayer money from all over Japan to rebuild in private corporations. We make those profits. We take those profits, we give zero interest loans. You know, imagine if I had $1 billion and I could leverage that $1 billion to, you know, 500 to $1 trillion with other folks, and then have a program in place where anyone who's lost it is guaranteed to get their new house back, their business, their car, a 0% loan refinance. Because, you know, Japanese save 30% of their money. They're cash driven, and you know, a lot of people keep cash in their homes and, you know, lost all that money. You know, they have gold, they have, you know, they're very cash focused. And you know, a lot of folks don't use banks and other things, so it's disheartening because I want to do so much. So I'm here pretty much working all the time in my PJs, feeling the earthquakes rattling. And my wife, I can't be there. There's Mikey sleeping here. No, there's Mikey there. Tommy there. Tommy has a flu, and my wife's over there. And while they're sleeping, I tell you, it's beautiful. I love the fact that I can work and have my family right behind me. And if, you know, Tommy has lots of nightmares, and I don't know if it's because he watches Red Ranger or whatever, but I love it because I can quickly respond to their needs if they make a noise or wake up or anything, and get them drinks or whatever. I'm up early, making breakfast. I'm like, I hate to boast it, but for a woman, I'm like the ideal dad. I spend more time with my kids. I pick them up from school. I drop them off at school. I pick up my wife from work. I drop her off at work. We're a one-car family. I love it, and I don't know why people think they need to have, take advantage of the little guys and steal what they have, and I just don't get it, because obviously they're not self-actualized, and they're I think they're lost. They're lost, and basically they're fixes. There's the same thing as shooting up with dope, or dope. God, that doing drugs, or being out, doing alcohol, or having lots of sex with a lot of women or whatever. It's just a fix. It's a fix because they're lacking something meaningful in their life, and it's just it's sad because there's nothing you can do to tell someone who has that emptiness that they're doing what they're doing. Because self-actualization, I wrote a book called The Natural Taoist, is all about you. You have to choose to become self-actualized. You have to choose. Enlightenment is within all of us. So don't look for enlightenment because you have it. You just need to turn on the switch. The challenge is how to turn on the switch. And it's actually easier than it's actually easy and hard. It's easy because it's there, and it's hard because if you want to turn on the switch, you screw yourself because you can't want to turn on the switch because it's already there, if that makes sense. So the key is self-actualization. That's the first thing. So how do you help all those people down here, all the it's like a whole, I mean, this is massive. This is massive. This is like the entire, pretty much, I don't know if you understand scale, but this is like the entire coast of Florida. It's like the Pacific coast of Florida was ravaged. I mean, imagine every city down the East Coast, Daytona, Jacksonville, Miami, okay? When Miami was hit by that hurricane, it was pretty, was devastated. But imagine the entire coastal area. I mean, that's what you're dealing with. And then on top of that, I don't know if you're from Florida, but I'm from Florida. But imagine then the nuclear power station freaking going, Chernobyl, or not quite Chernobyl, but it's bad. It's bad. I was watching the TV today, and my first thought was on the weekend was, gosh, all these belongings and stuff, what are they going to do? Because people have lost it. And God bless the Japanese. They were showing on TV workers washing photographs that they find. I mean, these are volunteers. They're finding stuff, and in their mind, these may be from people who have died, or who knows. But the tenderness, or like today I was at the doctor's office with Tommy, and I'm watching TV, and there's these volunteers, and they have to be in full radiation suits, even the camera person, full radiation suits, and the guy's picking up personal belongings and carrying them. But I'm thinking, like, isn't that contaminated? I mean, what are you going to do with the contaminated belongings? But they were, it was a satchel, someone's satchel that they were bringing. And the Japanese are so methodical and caring in that regard, that they will go through all the rubble, and find and bring the pieces together, and they'll probably get to their families. So I really love Japan. I really love everything. It's frustrating I'm not a billionaire. It's frustrating that I'm just a little guy, trying to make a difference, and I'm not a Jackie Chan, and like, who can raise, 3 million in 3 minutes. But, my vision though is that, all this nonprofit activity is great, but for the most part, what's going to happen is this money is going to get controlled by a few people, and it's going to be directed to those that have access to those funds. I mean, as simple as that. I mean, there's no neutrality, okay? And the real workers are those right now out there, out there doing the work and getting food up and raising money and getting food, for the survivors. I mean, the Japanese military is only providing them water and rice. That's it. So imagine for 2 weeks sustaining yourself on just water and rice. And not only that, you're dealing with radiation issues, and heating, and fuel. So, help me raise 100,000. Contribute to Help Japan Co. And it's helpjapan.co, or go to our blog, helpmehelpjapan.com, and crowdsource this. Share my videos and talk about it. And I'm this wacky teacher who wants to create a Halliburton for natural disaster recovery response using very specific niche DC firms that support the federal government in basically doing every project they need. If a base needs to be moved, they're the ones who do it. If a base needs to be set up, it's contractors now. If bases need to be managed, if bridges need to be built, all this, anything and everything that the Fed can throw, there are these integrator groups that support and do all that. And, if we could marshal that talent to Japan and then take the profits, we would do a 20% markup, whatever it costs. I mean, 20% would go to Help Japan Co., and that 20% would be used to reinvest into more, and reinvest and churn. So that's the power of a social venture. A nonprofit can't do that. Oh, it's against our charter. We can't make profits and then reinvest profits. If you're a company like Halliburton, you make Dick Cheney rich, fucking asshole. Or if you're a bank, you screw over homeowners in America. I mean, hey, let's or if you're George Bush and you give out $800 billion and say, hey, no accountability, go crazy, give yourself a $10 million pay raise. When I think of America, I really it's cancerous, and I would love to fix America, but I wonder if it can be. I really do. I don't think so. That's why I'm here. Hell, I couldn't find a wife. The moment I lost my job, the woman I would love, that want to be with me. My father had a stroke. I had to deal with that, and then I was selling health insurance at the time. So imagine, your father nearly dies at a hospital, and you're selling health insurance. You kind of have like a rude awakening. And then I just kind of had this, I was early midlife crisis, and I was striving to do the American dream and making crazy money selling a shitty product. That's the American dream, isn't it? Selling a shitty product and making a ton of money off people, right? Others paying. I was a bad guy. I didn't know it, because I was living the American dream and I was doing what everyone else was doing, and I thought I was doing the right thing. And that one happened, and the moment I wasn't making six figures, you know, my little attorney went off and found someone who was, and it just shattered me. It just shattered me. But the good news is, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have found myself. I wouldn't have, married the most amazing woman in the world. I call her Princess Catskill, PK. PK, it's double meaning because I'm a gamer, so PK is a player killer. So Princess Catskill, that's why I call her PK. She doesn't understand that side of it, but if you're a gamer, you understand what player killer is. She is a player killer. Fucking killed me. I don't play games anymore. Fucking completely killed the game. I don't have time. So anyway, I'm rambling here, but it's 1:55 p.m. here, so it's 3 a.m. my time. Let me get back to work.